Ten Commandments.
So that's transpired last fall. The other thing is there's some designs, there's some drawings and videos where they bring different religions together in a campus. So that stuff's out there. Telegram's a great resource.
I want to get you to say that on a microphone. Do I have a microphone? Oh, it's right here, right? Because I don't think everybody can hear you, but you're imparting some very valuable information. So please share with us. You want to stay seated or come up here and read? It feels like it's really things that we all need to know.
Yeah, I think just to Bonnie's point, I mean, the scripture is what's going on with real and timing, and you start doing research, and the Telegram is a very great resource for that, is two things. One is the Mount Sinai. There were religious leaders that met last, I think it was November, I'm not saying it last night, October, November last year, they met to talk about the new commandments. So that information's out there. There's some videos on it. Pastor in Australia actually did a tour. And the other thing is, I can't see it with my old glasses. The other thing is we're building what they call the Line, which is going to be a city that they want to contain people into, I forget how many kilometers long. And there's videos of that. They've got architecture designed for this where they want to corral people into what they call the Line, Saudi Arabia. They broke ground, construction's underway. It'll be retail, business. You live there, you can't go past that. That's another thing to look up. And then the lastly would be is the campus that they've designed. I don't think it's Dubai. There's architecture design, there's videos on it, for campuses to bring all the religions together. So I'd encourage you to do research.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's coming.
It's here faster than what you thought.
Yes, it is. You know, I've been a Sabbath keeper my whole life. I happen to be lucky that both my parents and grandparents were Sabbath keepers, and I'm glad that they taught me that. And I've gone to other churches, and I've actually preached in other churches, including Methodist Church and so forth. And I'll go anywhere, where anybody asks me, because I love the Lord. But I'm so blessed to know the Sabbath truth, because I know how hard-headed I am. And very likely, had I been raised Catholic, I would be fully immersed in it. So we have to approach this topic as a humble child, willing to learn and be taught, rather than immediately putting up heads and saying, oh no. We have to be humble, and we have to speak according to God's word. And you see all the fraud in government. There's fraud in our churches too. In all of our churches. The Masons have put it out there. They have infiltrated all of our churches. All right, moving on. We have got, this is the First Amendment that has 4 prongs. Your right to redress, very valuable. Right to sue. Texas Constitution, where is that found? Article 1, Section 27, Article 1, Section 13. And the due process clause, once you get into court, means that you have the right to fundamental fairness. That you have a right to be heard, that you have a right to put on evidence, that you have a right to cross-examine witnesses. All that's under the due process clause of the Fifth Amendment. Very important to know that you will not lose life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Well, one of the things that I know that's coming, and I don't know if it's this movement that will cause the change, but one of the things that will change in our court system before this worship compelling issue is coming is that our courts will shift and change. That due process will be given to all those who are being targeted because they did not obey the Sunday laws that are being passed. I know you're shocked. It's actually happened throughout biblical history before. Remember the plain of Dura and the golden idols set up for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and if they didn't bow down and worship, that they'd be thrown in the fiery furnace? Y'all remember that story? This has already happened. God is telling us in advance what's going to happen. He's already got those stories in the Bible showing us how He will protect those who stand firm and don't bend and don't get engaged in a false worship system. We have the same thing with Haman, right? He wanted worship, didn't he? Mordecai would not bow down in Babylon and worship Haman, the vice president. You remember the story? Haman built the gallows. He targeted certain people because they would only bow down and worship God and not the king nor the king's vice president. Haman wanted all the people annihilated and destroyed and genocided. Do you remember the story? We talked about it yesterday briefly, didn't we? How did God flip the script on both of these? Right. Here's what happened. In the fiery furnace, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown in the fire. The king says, what? Wait a minute, didn't I throw 4 in? Or didn't I throw 3 in? Why do I see 4? And the 4th looks like the Son of Man. Come out, and they did, and not one hair was singed on their head. The only thing that was gone were the ropes that bound them. And then he passed a brand new law. If anybody speaks evil of the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, your house will be destroyed and you will die. You'll be killed. See how God flipped the script on them? You think all those thousands of men, governors, princes, and magistrates that came in from all over to worship the golden idol, and God flipped the script on them where they all went home and talked about the God of Israel who can protect men from a furnace that had been heated up 7 times hotter than it had ever been before. You see how God protects his people? And in the story of Haman, what happened? God foresaw what Haman was doing, and he put a queen right next to King Ahasuerus, right? Queen Esther, and she was a commandment keeper. She was an Israelite. She was a Hebrew. She had favor with her husband. We know that because she went into the throne room without permission, and he didn't kill her, because that was the law back then. She invited Haman and her husband to dinner, and then she told her husband that Haman was the one who had targeted her and her whole family for genocide. Guess what happened to Haman? He hung on the gallows that he built for Mordecai and Esther and all the Hebrews. You see how God flips the script? God's already telling us how he does things. So when you're targeted for genocide, how is God going to flip the script for you? Have faith. Don't give in. Stand firm. Trust God. Oh, taste and see the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him, right? We have the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. That goes all the way back to the story of Esther. That was the first government that existed, was Babylon. Did you know that? It was so long ago, it was thousands of years before Christ was born, was Babylon. Remember the image in Daniel, the head of gold, the chest of silver, the pelvis of brass, the legs of iron, the feet of iron and clay? Well, we are now, that's a time frame of governments, by the way. The head of gold was Babylon. The chest and arms of silver, that was Medo-Persia. The hips of brass, that was Greece. The legs of iron was Rome. And the feet of iron and clay is where we are now. We're in the toenails of time. We're actually in the fungus on the toenails of time right now. But that story of that image in Daniel also gives us hope of what's coming. Because what does it say? It says there's a rock cut out without hands that strikes the foot of the image. It breaks into pieces and blows away like chaff in the wind. And then the rock rolls around the earth and fills it up. What is that? Is that Christ's kingdom? Is that Christ's kingdom, that rock that rolls around the whole earth and fills it up? Are those godly, righteous people that are standing up for him no matter what? I think it is. Because the whole government systems that collapse and break into pieces and blows away like chaff in the wind is all government that has existed for thousands of years. It's going to be gone. We're getting a preview in Daniel about that. Did you know that story? Sometimes we hear this when we go to church and we forget. I'm just reminding you, because we're leaky vessels, the good we hear also leaks out of us. That's why we're giving you a video after the fact so you can rewatch it, right? How are we going to get that video to everybody?
Do you want to have that conversation now?
Why not?
I'm going to give it to you, and you're going to
Awesome.
disperse it to them.
Awesome. Is it emailable? It's probably probably in a big format, right?
Very big.
It's what?
It's very big format.
Right, this is 3 days.
Right.
So you can put it on the thumb drive, right?
I have an external hard drive, 5 terabytes, put it on there, and I can put it on Dropbox and stuff.
Oh, it'll go in a Dropbox. Is that sufficient for you guys? You want it on a thumb drive? Dropbox. Awesome. And she's got your email address, right? So that way you'll get replays, right?
And we've recorded everything except when you said turn it off.
Yep.
Put it on a Google Drive?
And we'll share that good news whenever I get that bill paid. I'm gonna put it on Telegram. You guys all watch our Telegram channel, right? David Lester Straight on Telegram. He's got 44,000 plus followers. I post videos on there all the time. We talk about the victories we're having. By the way, I took photos yesterday of the whole class, and I'll post them after the event's over, and you may see your face or your head in the photo. Just saying. Just look at it. Check it out. Because, I mean, this is our victory party that we're here together, and we're learning, and we're loving each other, and it's a great fellowship team. So the Second Amendment. Has it gone to the U.S. Supreme Court? Did you know it's already been ruled on by the U.S. Supreme Court? Oh, it's been a while. So the first one was a case that went up to the U.S. Supreme Court called Heller versus District of Columbia. I know you're shocked that D.C. would try to ban guns, right? And that decision went up to the U.S. Supreme Court in 2008. And guess what? D.C. had passed a statute that bans guns and ammo in your home. Is that private activity? Yes. How can they regulate private activity? Because they call you a resident. And you say, okay, I'm a resident. Little do you know that's a commercial term, that you're temporarily there to do business, right? So don't let anybody get away with calling you a resident. That's how they commercialize or regulate you commercially when you're operating in your private capacity. So here's what the DC gun banning issue said. It said that your ammo had to be in one place, all locked up under lock and key, and the gun in another. Retarded, right? Is that an infringement? So let me get this straight. When you hear a bump in the night and glass breaks, and there's somebody breaking into my baby's room to steal my baby, maybe a child trafficker, I have to say, oh, hold on. I'll be right back. Just wait right there. Hold on. So, get my ammo. Oh, drop it. Oh, get the gun. Oh, okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready to live my life. Just retarded, right? Who would fall for that? So what's worse about this is the fact that the whole time this guy Heller had to be infringed. I don't know if he had a bar card holder or not. Probably spent an absolute fortune standing on his rights, but the whole time they're making securities out the back door of every courthouse. So let's say this is a municipal ordinance, which is not a law, right? All codes and statutes are not law, they're corporate bylaws. Remember the Walmart scenario? How does it apply to you, the living man? It just means my all capital name vessel can't have a gun. Not me, the living woman, they can't regulate me. I'm different from the all capital name vessel. The vessel doesn't own anything anyway, other than if I give it something. So here's what happens. At the municipal level, you can attack any code or statute as unconstitutional. Did you know they pass them all the time because it creates commerce? Did you know that? It creates commerce. Because then when your rights are infringed, you're going to go get a bar card holder to defend you, and you're going to take it to court, and the bar card holder is going to get paid $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for you just to stand on your rights. Unless you know how to do it yourself and you can do it for free. Did you know that? Which is why we're teaching you what we teach you. Don't hire the bar. That gives the court jurisdiction to do to you whatever they want to do to you, including kick you around, beat you, bruise you, and there's nothing you can do about it because you hired a bar card holder, meaning that you're a minor, you're incompetent, and you have no standing to do anything. They were slaves. Slaves can't own property. Did you know that? How many people that you know don't want to do their affidavit of repudiation because they think they might be losing something, and then they go get a land patent book? Has anybody told slaves can't own property? Get your affidavit of repudiation done first. If you need help with it, there are people on our team, Katie, myself, Gwen. I really don't have time to do a whole lot anymore. I get referrals to do. I really don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm sure you used one of the other girls to help you. They're really good. But get it done and get it filed, because those are the only people that can own property and be sovereign, stand on their God-given rights and have standing to sue and get redress of your grievances and stand on the Constitution as the beneficiary of the Constitution. But in this Heller decision,